Hi. Do you think that you can't do yoga, that yoga is just not for you? Do you have injuries or other limitations in your body that make you hesitant to even try yoga? Welcome to my channel. I'm Beth, and this will be an accessible chair yoga practice for all bodies, including those who are over 50, like I am, people who are new to yoga, restarters, those with injuries. This practice is for you to help you reduce pain and discomfort and increase mobility in your body. So when you're ready, find a sturdy chair with no arms and let's get started. So have a seat on your chair. You want to be seated a little bit more toward the edge of the chair, so not sitting back in the chair. Take your feet, perhaps your feet are a little bit ahead of your knees, and find a comfortable width of your feet apart. If we were standing, we would call this mountain pose. We can call this chair mountain pose. I'm going to take just a moment to tune in to prepare for our practice. Let your hands rest on your lap or by your sides, and let your gaze be soft, maybe stare at a spot on the floor. Close your eyes if you desire to do so. Feel yourself sitting upright, so hopefully you can feel your sits bones connect with the chair. And maybe from that grounding of your bottom, you feel some length and uplifting. I'm going to start with encouraging that length by reaching our arms up tall. Reach along your side body, so not just with your fingertips, but all the way up the sides to reach toward the ceiling or the sky, wherever you are. You can take a breath in here, and then as you exhale, bend your arms, sweep your arms down and out to the sides. Let's do that a couple more times, breathing and moving. Breathe in, reach up tall. Exhale, bend arms, pull your shoulder blades a little together on the back, starting to get a bit of an upper body stretch. Breathe in, reach and stretch. Feel as if you're growing a little taller. Exhale, arms come down, elbows come down. A few more times like this. Just starting to warm up the body a little bit, prepare the body for some movement. Maybe starting to take some movements into the body that actually feel good, that feel refreshing. All right, let's do one more together. Reach up tall, breathe in, maybe a little extra reach, wiggle your fingertips at the top. And then again, bend your arm. Might hear some creaks and cracks as you take your arms down. Great, we're going to take a little bit of movement for our neck and start to move our spines a little bit more. So let's simply start with letting the right ear come toward the right shoulder. Now you might find it's helpful to take your opposite hand, your left hand, and perhaps if you can grab the side of the chair, anchor yourself there. You can also take your hand, lift your butt cheek a little bit and sit on your hand, whichever option provides a better sense of stretch in your neck. Again, might hear a bit of a crack there. And then keeping the ear toward the shoulder, we'll release the hand, take the left arm up. Remember that tall reach up. And this time you might want to take the opposite arm across your body to anchor you as we lean toward your right. So a lateral stretch, that means the side body, opening up the space between the ribs. As you breathe in, you might even think about sending your breath to those little muscles between the ribs. Those are called your intercostals. One or two more breaths in this position. When you're ready to come out, reach up tall. Let that arm come down. So we'll start with the neck stretch on the second side. Left ear comes toward left shoulder. And really we're just letting it hang, letting the gravity, the heaviness of our head do the work. If you'd like to take your right hand and either hold under the chair or anchor your palm down with your own body, you can do it that way. Doing this just helps me elongate these muscles a little bit more, feeling the stretch a little more. And then remember, we're going to keep the ear toward the shoulder, Reach up tall with the right arm and then start to reach over. I'm going to take my left arm across just to anchor a little bit so I don't fall out of my chair. Now I'm looking toward you. You have the option of looking up toward your arm, looking down toward the floor. So turning your head depending on how it feels on your neck. If it feels better to look down or up, or you get a different stretch, you can experiment with that. And then when we're ready to come back up, we'll reach up tall again and come back to seated. Now we're going to do a little more movement for our spine, this time in a seated cat-cow, and we'll use our arms to help exaggerate the movement a bit. So when you reach forward, you're going to round your back, tuck your chin as if you're making the C. You can think about your C in YMCA. You're making a C shape with your spine, tucking your tailbone under a little bit. And then as you bring your chest forward, we're going to bend our arms like we had them before, even more pulling of our shoulder blades together on our back as we reach the chest forward. Arms are coming apart like a W. And you might feel the urge to take a natural breath in here. This is our seated cow pose. And then let's come back to cat. Exhale the air out, rounding again, tucking your tailbone. Breathe in, find your seated cow. And then make these two shapes a few more times at your own pace. I encourage slow movements. It gives us a chance to feel a little bit what we're doing with our body a bit more. Take a breath in, find that wide space. And we'll do one more. So reaching forward as you exhale, emptying out your air, making your body a C or like a cat. Inhale, opening up, finding space across your collarbones, strengthen your upper back. And then release on your exhale. We move the spine side to side, forward and back. One more direction for the spine is our twist. Again, reach the arms up so you know this position. As you exhale, bring the arms down just to a T and feel as if as your arms are floating there, your spine is getting even a little taller. Keep that tall spine as you start to revolve around your midsection going to your right. And as you turn, let your hands naturally drape down. Left hand can come over the thigh. Right hand can hold behind you. Maybe you can hold the chair wherever you can comfortably reach. So we're holding ourselves really gently in this twist. You might feel that as you inhale, maybe you can even put a little push into your hands, get your spine a little taller. And then perhaps as you exhale, you have a little bit more room to spin around your rib cage into your twist, remembering that your head can go wherever is comfortable for your neck. So you could look further behind you. If you prefer, you can look in the opposite direction. I'm going to have my head neutral. We'll take one more breath here. And then as you exhale, unwind back to front. All right, we'll go to the other side. So we'll start again with finding a tall spine. That's important in our twist to start with length. Exhaling to about shoulder level. Take a moment here to feel that length in your spine, ground your sits bones, reach up with the crown of your head. Take another breath in, and again on your next exhale, you're spinning around your ribs from about your belly button up through your mid back, through your shoulders as your hands come down, and your hands gently hold you into the twist. You could put a little bit of pressure into your hands as you breathe in to help you sit up even a little bit more, grow tall. And exhale, maybe you explore a few millimeters to either direction in your twist. You're very welcome to experiment with where you turn your head. Find your last couple of breaths in your twist. And then as you're ready, unwind, come back through to front. All right, we've been working the spine a lot. We've had to utilize the core to keep us sitting here upright. We'll bring a little bit more into our lower body as well now. So take your right leg, your knee will stay bent, anchored on the floor, and we're going to extend out the left. Now, extend is relative. You can either be on your heel, you can have the foot more flat, your leg might be out more out front than mine is. Maybe it's out more to the side. So find a place that your lower body feels anchored and stable. So I have a slightly flexed foot. My leg is off about maybe at a 45-degree angle. That feels pretty stable to me. And then we're going to turn just a little bit so that your side body is parallel with the extended leg. So left side body parallel with the left extended leg. My left hand will rest right on the leg. Again, extension with the right arm, and then any degree of lean over this extended leg. You might think of this as a seated version of triangle pose with a long extended leg, the reach up with the top arm. Of course, your top arm can stay down if there's something going on with your shoulder or it's just more comfortable to keep your arm down. Make the choice that works for you for today. We hold each pose at least a few breaths. You could count to 3 or 4 breaths or 5. Set a timer for 30 seconds. Let's take one more in breath. And on your exhale, reach up, come up. We're going to scooch a little bit more to the front corner of the chair. So the left front corner. This leg's going to stay extended, but you can kind of readjust it as you scooch. All right, so you see I have a little space on the chair behind me, and then I'll re-extend the leg. Now we're going to go the other direction, a reverse triangle or reverse warrior. I want this extra space so my hand can hold somewhere on the chair. And then I'll reach up, and we're going to go to the back diagonal this time. So I'm in a position now where I can nicely lean a little onto the chair. As I do that, maybe even push so I can extend from fingertips to toes. You could point or flex your toe, whatever you choose. Get a nice long stretch for the side body here. And then we'll come up and we'll repeat that on the second side. So we start pretty centered on our chair. You're still on the edge of the chair. Your left leg stays bent. This is kind of your anchor leg. And then extend your right. Don't be surprised if you might have to adjust exactly where it is or the degree to where your toes are pointed or flexed. We're different from side to side. So adjust to make this side work for you. Take that little bit of a turn, a little bit of turn around your waist and your ribs so that your right side body is facing your extended right leg. Let your right hand be a little bit of a rest here for you. Extend up with your left and then out and over your leg. We find our seated triangle. My hamstring on this leg is feeling it a little bit more for whatever reason. As I said, we're a little different from side to side. And you can adjust. You can adjust how much you lean. You can adjust where you place the arm. You can adjust where you place the lower arm and the head. Let's try to find a position that works for you today and then stay there for the duration. The last breath, one more breath in. Reach up, come out of your triangle. And then here's where we'll scooch a little bit more right so that we come to kind of the corner. My legs are almost straddling it a little bit, but I still want my legs to be in a stable position as I put them back where they were. Still having that little turn, and now left hand comes behind, anchor somewhere behind, so that I can reach off in this direction. And this stretch feels a little different. It feels more lengthened to me. able to push into my bottom hand, reach with my toes and my fingertips, and feel a lot of opening. All right, let's take another breath. Breathe in and reach up, and then come back to center. Recenter yourself. Find your seat. Find the place where your feet feel firm and anchored. We're going to invite into our bodies a little balance. We'll be seated on the chair the whole time, and we can still play with balance here. Now, if you want to scooch back just slightly on your chair, you could do that rather than be on the edge. Test it out, see what works for you. As we do this, hands can be by your side, they can be holding the chair. If you have a table or something nearby, you can also rest your hand there. We'll start by lifting our right foot off the ground, and you can actually use your hands to help. So you can simply lift by lifting with the muscles of the leg, or if you need a little help, use your hand to help. You can also grab a scarf or a belt and wrap it under your leg to help get the leg there. So this is where we're starting to see how this feels. If you did use your hands to help, you might let go for a moment and see if you can hold the leg there with the muscles of your leg. And then set that down. Opposite leg. So give it up. We'll assist with your hand. And then we see, can I use the muscles of my leg? Can I activate the strength of my leg, of my hip flexor to hold the leg in space for a few breaths? And come down. Now, if you struggle to actively hold the leg, then you'll practice as we go from side to side. You'll practice holding with your hands or with your scarf. However you did it, that's fine. That will help you build balance and build up strength. If you were able to do that and you are wanting to add arms to it, I'll give you an option for the arms. So we'll start again on the right side, lifting the right leg. And this time you can send the right arm forward. Sorry, the left arm forward, so opposite arm to leg. It's like a bird dog move. And then we'll come down. Your left leg comes up. Now your right arm forward. So almost like a little march. And remember, if you're not doing the arms, you're just switching the legs. Of course, you could also just do the arms. Maybe you reach the arm up overhead as you lift the knee. And again, second side. Length in the torso and the center of the body as we do these moves. You can also play around with experimenting with the arm, reach it up, perhaps draw the elbow down like we did at the beginning, reach it out in a T. And wherever you want to put the arm. We'll do one more on each side. So if you're holding, you can also play around with holding simply opposite arm and opposite leg, letting the other arm reach up. So same arm and leg in that case, reach up or overhead or out front. And down, last time, last leg. So you can give yourself this little hold and still find different degrees of reach with your arm. All right, come down. A few more moves in today's practice. We're going to take our feet a little bit wider than your hips, maybe a little bit wider than your chair. You can adjust. But if you prefer having the toes turned out, do it that way. You can choose to have the feet more parallel. We're always looking for stability. So looking where our feet can be stable on the ground, where our body can be upright as our feet are stable. So we're going to take a chair pose into a little bit of a twist, our last twist here. Let's reach the arms forward and then any degree of up. I'm going to keep mine at about a 45-degree angle. Maybe you take yours further overhead, any degree up that you like. Start to hinge forward so your body comes a little forward as if you're just sitting down and sending your bottom back. This is our chair pose. And you can imagine, we're not going to do this today, but from here you could stand right up. You could sit down and do a little hover over the chair. So plenty of functional movement, right? If we do use our legs, we're getting up and down all day long. From this chair pose, we're going to drop the right arm, and then we're going to take that same little turn so that the side body faces the leg. Let the elbow come a little bit inside this time. Reach the left arm up and twist this way. So wide-legged twist, anchoring our elbow against the knee. So right side is anchored, left side is reaching, and that reach might be up, it might be more in the back diagonal. One more breath into this twist. And spin back around. You're in this little fold forward. Help yourself up. Readjust as needed, and we'll find that on the second side. So remember, we start with our chair pose, reaching the arms forward. Any degree of arm raise. I'm going to keep mine at about 45 degrees or a little above my shoulders. No need to know geometry here. And then a bit of hinge forward at the torso. So I'm not rounding into cat pose like we did before. I'm keeping my torso length and hinging forward as if I'm shutting a door, or as I said, as if you're about to come and stand up. And then from there, we start to turn so that the left side of the body lines up with the left leg, left arm comes on the inside, right arm reaches up, perhaps reaching back. So a bit of an open twist, finding more space to finish our practice. Last breath. And then once again, unwind. If you'd like, you can stay here with your arms and your legs, holding a seated forward fold. If you have space and desire to do so, you might fold more toward the floor. You could also come upright and take a rest. Now you could sit back more in the chair, rest your hands, rest your eyes. Notice this effects of the practice. Take a few minutes to sit quietly, maybe scan your body, see, observe, pay attention to whether anything has changed for you. That's part of our mindful practice. So I really hope that you found this chair yoga practice to be helpful. It helps me out if you give my channel a subscribe, if you give this practice a like, and please do comment below. Tell me what you want to see differently, what you'd like to see in future practices. I have plenty of them for you to try. Thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your day.